I can measure angles using a protractor, and I can classify angles as acute, right, and obtuse. So we're going to first look at a vocabulary sheet. Yesterday we did angles, which are formed by two rays. And for example, use the angle symbol. We did the vertex, which is right at where those two rays come together. Your vertex would be at that intersection. So today we're going to look at acute. Now these should all be review, but let's go through them. Acute angle would be less than 90. So you should draw yourself at an angle less than 90 degrees. And again, we're looking at that part right there. A right angle then would be exactly 90 degrees. And again, when you draw it, you have to remember to put in that little box. That's what tells you it's 90 degrees. An obtuse angle is greater than 90 degrees. So something like that. Again, the part we are looking at is right in here. A lot of times you may see a little arc symbol. That tells you you're looking at that angle. A straight angle then is exactly 180 degrees. It's like a straight line. But again, you're not looking at the line. You're looking at the angle. I'm going to do this one in red so you can see at the arc right here. You're looking at that angle like that. So if I asked you to name an angle on here, could you? For instance, angle ACD. That would be this angle, ACD. That's an obtuse angle. What happens if I asked you what BCD angle is? That would be acute. So when you use a protractor, protractors have some different parts. First of all, this is called your centering mark. So that goes right on your vertex. You have a zero edge. You have an inner scale and an outer scale. So you have two scales, and so you need to first decide when you look at an angle if it's acute or obtuse. If it's acute, you know you'd be using the smaller of the numbers. When it's obtuse, you'd be using the larger. So step one, determine if the angle is acute or obtuse. So in this case, it's acute. You would then take your protractor and you line it up on the vertex. Since we know this is an acute angle, okay, we may have to end up rotating this to get it to line up perfectly, but you want it to line up right there at the zero. You will look at it and go, okay, I either have the choice of a 45-degree angle or a 135. Do you see how this goes from 130 to 140? Then it goes backwards from 40 to 50. So you're right in the middle. Well, since it's acute, it has to be a 45-degree angle. So at this time, I want you to stop the video, log into IXL, and measure and classify some angles for about 3 minutes. All right, welcome back. In your notebooks, I want you to draw a circle. This line across the middle is your diameter. All angles were created from a 360-degree circle. You were just using a protractor. A protractor is half a circle. So this line right here, a straight line, is always 180 degrees because it's half of the 360-degree circle. When you have two angles, so I want you to draw an angle coming out from here. When I have two angles that are connected right here and they share this, so this would be one angle and this would be the other, they're right next to each other, they're called supplementary. Supplementary angles, when I add this angle plus this angle, plus this one, together will equal 180 degrees. So they're supplementary when they equal two angles or more equal 180 degrees. I could have three angles in here. I could have four, but they all together equal 180. So I want you to go back to your little vocabulary sheet and find supplementary. We skipped this one right now. Supplementary. Sum of the angles, sum means to add, would equal 180 degrees. So let's look at these two. If these two angles were together, if I added them together and they were connected, it would be 65 plus 115 is 180 degrees. they would share this ray right there that they both have. So here's kind of a cool way to look at it. 60 plus 120 is 180. So when I lay these two together, do you see how they make a straight line? So basically a straight line that has two angles, the sum of those two angles would have to be 180 degrees. Complementary is the same thing. So I want you to turn your circle. We just used the supplementary here. Let's see if I can turn this. Okay. We're going to go this direction now, and I want you to draw from here straight down. See if you can draw a straight line. This would be a 90-degree angle. So if I have an angle that cuts this apart, and we want to find the measure of this and this, that would equal 90 degrees. That's known as complementary. Complementary angles, two angles, three angles that have to equal 90 degrees would be complementary. So a great example to show, if I take 32 plus 58, I get 90. When they share a vertex and a side, and they come together, they will make an exact 90-degree angle. So let's go back, to our cheat sheet, or our vocabulary sheet. And let's get complementary. Complementary, the sum of the angles is 90. So when I put these two angles together, 51 and 39, they would make 90 degrees. You got to make sure that you realize, again, they have to share a vertex and a side to be able to be considered complementary. So this would be 39 degrees. All right, lastly, see if you can draw this in your notebook. If I give you this as 40 degrees, can you name all the other angles? Stop the video now and try, and come back and see what you get. All right, because this has the box, of course, this is 90 degrees. Here we have, if that's 90, remember a line is 180, so this has to be 90. If this is 40, this is 50. Now, which people have a hard time with is looking at this as a line right here. So if I can ignore all of this stuff over here, if this is 50, this has to right here be 130. Now, I'll do it in green. You gotta look at the bottom of this line. If this is 130, well, 180, because it's supplementary, minus 130 is 50 degrees. So this would be 50 degrees. All right, you can get started on your homework.